Okay. This is a kind of a summary update because I've been having a lot of trouble getting updates done and uploading them and whatnot. So first things first. I'm hoping that someone specific is still watching these. If so, and this is for anyone out there concerned, it's for anyone out there. I'm starting to believe that the reason that I can't communicate my what I've been calling my discoveries is because they are the result of my having achieved a level of enlightenment, at least with regard to the human social condition, human nature, and I mean, it required to come to the knowledge that I've acquired required a lifetime of suffering. And I think that possibly the reason that things like this, like what's happened to me, have manifest as religious things is because of the amount of suffering involved in coming to an enlightenment of this nature, and the vast disparity between the knowledge held by most people and the person that achieves enlightenment. So in the past they've become the source of religious following. I mean, in 2,000 years ago, I mean, you think Jesus was the only Messiah? There were more messiahs than there were religions on earth today. You know, but sorry, still waking up. But so I think that's why it's difficult for people to understand, is because of vast base knowledge that was required to understand this. I could explain it through logical argument, but unfortunately the brain isn't working well enough, and I don't have the time to sit down and jot down the argument. It takes days of concentration, and I don't have that ability because I'm too busy trying to survive in a society that is so backwards from how it should be. It's not funny. As far as the nature of you know, why you perceive of me as a kook, is the fact is that you're the kook, to be quite honest and blunt. And I'm not saying that to be rude, I'm not saying it to be mean. I'm saying it as an observation meant to hopefully incite you to investigate the possibility that I might be right. And the problem is that you, I'm saying you because I'm different now. I don't see the same things you do. But you have opted for a society, by failing to object, you continue to opt for a society that is completely irrational, completely against, basically, human nature. We are not competitive by nature. We are cooperative. You can't have a society of competition. I mean, forget human nature. You cannot have a society and have competition. That's not a society. So, you know, you're basing rule. You know, it's like trying to go into nature and saying, okay, frogs, you can only be killed by foxes only on Wednesdays after 3:30 p.m. until 6 a.m. the next day. You can't do that. You know, you can't make a quote-unquote society, make all these rules, and then expect them to be followed with competition instead of cooperation, with people, with saying every man for yourself. It's completely irrational. I mean, I see this because I've stepped outside of that system. You need to step outside of that system as well. And the only way you're going to see this is if you step outside. And the only way to step outside is, well, a good way to step outside is to find a way to see that what I say is true. Because I see it, because it is the truth of existing outside of the system. So try to see what I say is true about what's wrong with society, and that will allow you to step outside of society. You know, what helped me significantly was imagining before there was a society. You know, I've said this, I don't know if I said it in a video or if I put it in comments or what, but you know, if you're really curious, if you're really curious, not curious enough to come and ask me directly, but you're really curious to know on your own, go out camping for a week. Just get away from everything for a week. Go into the wilderness where there's no cell phones, no internet, no job, no boss, no, take only food that humans can eat, that traditionally humans ate. Take some meat and, maybe take a little bit of rice or maybe a little, if you need that. But don't take any sugar, no milk, or just spend a week just living as a human is supposed to live. Extricate yourself from this society and see if you don't start to see what I see. See if you don't start to see at least that things are a little crazy. Why do we have jobs doing things that don't contribute to society, but yet we have to have these in order to partake of society? Wait, what? We have to have a job, we have to participate in society doing things that don't contribute to society in order to partake of society. Listen to what I'm saying. You have a job. Most likely your job has nothing to do with the fundamental human needs. No, working at McDonald's is not meeting a fundamental human need. Corporate food is not food. So eliminate those. Okay, but even if you are in something of manufacturing, farming is a good example that's having to do with sustaining human need, but it's been twisted, but it is still something that sustains human need. Someone like a medical practitioner, someone like any manufacturing or service job that provides directly provides for absolute human needs, not wants, not desires, needs. A bakery, for example, is not meeting a human need. A grocery store is. But how many of those jobs are there out there? How many meet human needs versus how many don't? And you have a choice between having a job that meets human needs or that doesn't meet human needs. But you still have to have a job. Here's an idea, people. Why don't you quit your job that doesn't meet human needs and go find a job that does meet human needs? If everyone did that, guess what? Guess what? We'd all have our needs met. Anyway. Thought I was feeling good. I slept in a bit. Still just can't work the confusion. And I'm not medicated. Last I smoked was 2 a.m. Yeah. Jeez. It's 7 hours later. It only lasts 4. God, this hurts. But another thing I was trying to update was my abilities. My cognitive issues, the state of my cognitive issues. What's going on is that I'm not able to handle a lot of the lower functions, but I seem to be better able to, or at least my ability is back to where it should have been, or where it was, I don't know, but I seem to have extremely good abilities to both learn and comprehend. So the base intellect seems to be there, and I sat down the other day. I don't know if I think I've shown this several times, but I sat down and I just, this is the Bernoulli effect. I was visualizing it. And I used the lines that they use, but then went in here and looked at the compression and decompression and compression of the air molecules, because air is a fluid and the molecules are connected and interconnected. Loose hydrogen bonds and loose, non-chemical force bonds. So they kind of come together, and then they come together in a homogeneous mixture that's kind of, well, it's air, but it could be compressed. That's how sound travels, by the way, is propagation of a compressed wave of sound of air. So I imagined the compression and came up with a theory that is completely, vastly different than both Bernoulli and Euler's theories, the two competing theories to explain how lift is achieved. And what I'm seeing is that we probably don't have the math to explain lift. So Euler and Bernoulli equations approximate, just as a algebraic equation would approximate a true multivariable calculus equation. You can guess with algebra, but to be accurate, you need to explain things with calculus, and the reason for that is because they've been using these linear lines to represent movement of air, when it's not movement of air, it's compression and motion of air that explains it, and that is something that we actually don't have the math for. We don't have the math to explain chemical equations because they are collisions of multiple bodies in three-dimensional space. We simply don't have the math to explain that, which means that I should probably go out and learn calculus because I can probably figure it all out. What I'm trying to say is that my brain is functioning to be able to figure things out that are important in life, but if it's not important, if it's trivial, if it's irrational or something, my brain I can't grasp it. But it's things like bank account maintenance, maintaining my checking account balance, remembering what fuel tank has fuel in it, because I don't have working fuel gauges on my truck that has two fuel tanks. Anyway, health-wise, I don't know. I haven't had to have an enema, and I haven't had to do an enema in a long time, so that's a very good thing. I think that has to do with the fact that I've been eating onions again, and some other factors that have been going on, including remembering to drink water more often, although yesterday I slacked off. So that's all what's going on. Anyway, call it for now. I got breakfast going. Maybe this will upload.